It's time to dad.
Welcome,
Never ever was against
everybody,
that
from
job.
Time to Dad. We got somewhat of our original crew here, and Jason, Nick, and Alex, and we got
Hair's
Alex's
jacked
little
up.
guy with us here visiting, listening in. So we're gonna keep this one PG for you guys today, and see where Jason brings it as we go through. So, but listen, we're a little all over the place tonight. We're just kind of chatting conspiracies, whatever's going on in this world. 2024 has been an interesting year to start. Uh, Listen, I don't know where have you guys 2024 has started already. Any good things that has happened so far for 2024? That any bad things that have happened 2024
All
that
bad.
maybe we were expecting? All
Are
bad.
you doing a check-in on us? Are you pulling a card
I
for
think
me?
it's a check-in.
It's a check-in.
We're doing a
Yeah.
State of the Union of
I'm
the
going to tell my
Time to Dad
leadership
podcast.
course teacher. She's going to love it.
Bueller,
Shit.
So
Bueller.
I don't know where are we at, boys.
My 2024 has been pretty solid. I mean, we starting T-ball's been the highlight, dude. The weekends and the practices I go to with little man have like brought an unmeasurable amount of joy to my life. If you've never like been to a little kid's T-ball game, it, your stomach will hurt from laughing at the things these kids do. I mean, dude, they just run the gamut. There's goofy, there's coach's kid, there's just downright hilarious. There's kid picking daisies in the field. There's oh shit moments when you think a kid's about to get drilled with a ball. I mean, it has every emotion you could think of, but it's like 95% shit show hilarious activity the entire time, and it's like it's added this energy level because I'm excited that my kid's in sports, right? T-ball is the first sport we've introduced him. Well, at least we've introduced him into like a league of playing, right? We do shit around the house and the yard and stuff. But T-ball is his first one. So that's already exciting for me as a dad because, I mean, every dad wants to. You were raised by your dad to do whatever. So he just turned 5 in December. He could have started last year, but his cousins started then, and I just kind of saw how they did, and I was like, he just wasn't ready. So we waited till this year, and it's been freaking phenomenal. It's great. I like being there with him. I like trying to teach him, and then I just like the shenanigans that little kids get into at that age on a friggin' baseball field.
Did you play T-ball too as a kid?
I did, yeah. My dad coached me. He coached me up until, I don't know, I think I was like 12 or 13 when he stopped coaching me. And I mean, he coached me in football and baseball, which was pretty sweet. So I'm excited. New chapter of dad life, getting your son into sports. It's a pretty cool one to open.
I love baseball as a kid. I feel like that's like a really strong. We had a field, a rec center type. It was a bunch of land.
You're going on a tangent. You need to answer the check-in first.
No.
And then we'll revisit this.
I want to check in on T-ball when I was a kid.
Okay, check in. How's your T-ball career going?
My T-ball career sucked, but nostalgically, I really enjoyed it. I felt like there was like I had moments where I was like, if I was the kid that hit the home run and had that moment and ran around there, like I never was. I'm not talented athletically, but my check-in, I would say, is that it's been very. It's weird how life can get stressful. You guys know this when you're a dad and have ups and downs and ebbs and flows, but there's a constant of appreciation or joy for what it is when you're with your kids, especially now. I have to check in is like all three of us, we live with our wives and our kids for the most part. That's like our experience. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think like there's a level of like up and down stress where you enjoy being with the kids, but you also you appreciate just how stressful and crazy it gets when you're there and it's just them and you, or it's the four of you and they're not in a great. I mean, I got 2-year-olds. There's noise. This guy knows what I'm talking about. That kid right there. So it gets wild. and you think about your life as something so stressful that it's not really even normal. And then you have moments of just like, I'm so lucky and I love my kids so much that they're just such beautiful little people, especially at that age. Like this kid knows what I'm talking about right there. But it just
resonates so well with me right now, especially
it's
with
wild, man. And so my check-in is that there's all that, appreciating my life with my kid, and then there's like professional goals that I've reached or enjoyed, because it's all very much a transition. All of us are fair. I mean, Alex aside, whatever happened with your job, but and I didn't know if I'm bringing that up on the podcast, but
you brought it up.
God damn it, gonna edit it out.
Between us.
Come on.
No, it's fine.
Do we want to go there? Do we want to go there on a podcast? I don't know. I was really more talking.
We're doing a real check-in.
Career.
So I'm gonna talk about it.
Let's transition.
Popcorn Alex.
I wasn't calling you out. I was more talking about balancing how much my kids stress me the fuck out.
Oh my God, did you see that?
Success at my job.
My fucking stool. I just like broke the fucking leg on it. Oh my God, you guys almost saw me break a fucking elbow.
It would be great if
Jesus.
Let's check in with Alex.
Oh, I'm good.
You just watched it.
Alex's turn.
What's the goal?
All right,
Let's check in with Alex.
Almost
this guy is
died.
supposed to be asleep. Hey, you're not supposed to do that. Hey, that's crazy stuff. So, I got let go of my job on the 16th. That's today's the 2nd of April. I do get paid by the VA, so I can survive off what I get paid plus what I had in the bank. But I did get let go, and it sucks, right? It sucks because as a dad, you're supposed to provide, and right now I'm not providing health insurance, so we had to apply for like emergency Medicare, Medicaid, just to have insurance between now and my next job. So I went to a job interview today. It seems to have gone really well. And if all goes well, I'll literally start Friday. Man. So I'm not completely, not completely fucked. Thankfully, again, I have a fantastic skill that will take me many places. And even, I don't want to talk about the company because they're not just promising, but they're expecting to send me to all these different trainings so I can be certified in the company. And by the words of the manager, he just said, hey, you can be certified here, be fully master certified for this car company, and then you can go anywhere in the States and, transfer those skills.
Is it Hyundai? You and Jason can be boys.
Let's not get excited. Let's just say they're sister companies, and we're not going to mention them.
My mechanic is
Kia.
all the land.
You gotta drive across. You gotta drive 900 miles south to get to him, but he's the best mechanic ever.
Dude, I'll listen. Yeah. Hey, buddy, you're supposed to be in bed. Easily. Sorry about my child. He's
welcome.
We're
to
going
time
through
to
a lot
dad.
of transitions. Yeah. But the best part about, unfortunately, losing my job, other than being super depressed about it, the best thing is right now I'm hanging out with my kids.
I was gonna say, how's the little one? That's got to be part of the check-in.
Yeah, my daughter, she's fantastic. She's adorable. She freaking loves being held by me. She always somehow falls asleep in my arms. So that weird relationship that me and her are developing is much easier than when I first had my twins, because my twins would 100% only ask for my wife. And that really bothered me when they were super young. Now they come to me or they go to her. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they only come to me. Like when my daughter and my son crashed face first, my daughter bit her lip or her tongue. I can't remember. But my daughter wanted me. So that's changed for the better. And with this kid now, it's already starting off really well. So I don't have to worry about that awkward moment where they only want my wife and not me. Like that really.
Your wife probably appreciates that too.
Yeah,
she does. She does. It's this baby has been like a million times easier. Again, just one, and this is our technically third time go around with a baby, but it's way smoother. And yeah, like even though things seem like they're going in shambles, even 3 days ago, like it just felt like I was just being a complete failure in life. And I'm like, you know what? I think it's going to be okay. And thanks to the Silva method, everything's coming.
Oh fuck!
coming
Now we
my
just
way. I'm
lost the
manifesting
recording.
all these shit.
Damn.
Alex, what did Alex
Listen,
say?
No,
I've
he
been-
mentioned the S word, and that's when we lost the episode.
Yeah.
That's what
before.
I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that
Did anybody
was
see that?
interesting right there.
Listen,
Whoa.
I'm not going to say it,
Whoa.
but if somebody in the organization wants to sponsor us, listen, I'll take it, and I'll, praise whatever golden cow you guys praise to. I don't know how it works. Listen, I'm just making stuff up.
Fucking, yeah,
Wait,
golden
so
Okay.
fucking cow. I was gonna ask
I
Alex.
think I was not there. For
No.
You were not here at all.
We're not going to talk about it.
Joe,
we're
don't worry
11
about it.
minutes in. We're
Yeah,
going
don't talk
to
about
lose the
Bruno.
episode.
Listen,
Stop.
whatever makes it easier and
Stop.
makes life better for you, Alex, power to you, bro. That's good.
Listen, it's the best way to explain it, Joe, is it's
We had a good episode, but we're gonna lose the whole recording.
no, we're not. Listen, I promise. I would say
Not
go to
everything, just
YouTube,
half the audio.
click in, type Silva method meditation, right? Just type it in and you see it for yourself and experience it for yourself. What I think it is, I could be 100% wrong, but what I think it is, it's self brainwashing, but with a really positive twist, essentially helping you adjust your attitude to a more positive attitude, more positive, more.
You ever read the
Not
book,
so
The
much
Energy Bus, Joe?
expecting. I haven't.
No, I haven't read
Or did
that
you?
Oh, I've read The
one. I'm
Energy
reading the
Bus.
5 seconds.
That's what Silva
reading the 5
Method
seconds
reminds
book,
me
yeah.
of. It's like
Maybe.
teaching.
You already read that shit, Joe. You were talking about that like a month, like 6 months ago.
Yeah,
we're talking
because
about
I
5
brought it up
seconds.
to you guys, so you can read it. But now I'm reading it. Well,
You're
I'm reading it
rereading
again
this?
because I'm tired as crap in the morning. So I'm like, I got to freaking get going,
Yeah.
moving. So we're reading it again.
Yeah.
No,
Listen,
I want to talk about that.
but
I
I
want to talk
do-
about that.
I have
So
my whole
what,
office reading.
to wrap up
That's
my
why.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
to wrap up my thought, try it for yourself. Just kidding. I don't know. I think I'm gonna be all right. I'm like a cat. I land on my feet, and even though I might have a skinned knee and missing a couple, toes or whatever claws the cats have, I'm all right.
Don't let the bad days win, man.
Dude, that motivation
No,
stuff,
that's-
that don't let the bad days win. I saw a company and I just happened to see it for almost a week straight. Don't let the bad days win. Don't let the bad days win. It's an advertisement for a t-shirt company on Facebook. I don't know who they are. I'm never gonna promote
They're
them, but I kept
military
seeing
backed, I'm pretty sure.
I kept seeing it and I'm just like, dude, like it's the message I needed. I had a call from my an old Navy friend just reaching out right now, and he's like, hey man, just saw that you posted on Facebook that you lost her. And I'm like, yeah man, I'm good. And I landed an interview. Seems like I might start Friday. And he's like, hell yeah, dude. He's like, hell yeah, dude. He's just checking up on me, and I don't know, like you just need people like that,
Yeah.
Dude, we talked about bromance and buddy check-ins. What was it, 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
See, man, you
Sometimes-
check in on your buddies, and they'll check back in on you.
Yeah, dude. I used to check up on him every once in a while, and he would check up on me. And now, even in my weird time of need, because he's been so busy with life, he barely saw the post I made a
Universe,
couple of
man.
days ago. And he's like, "Hey, man, everything okay? Everything okay?" And sometimes you need to reach out. Sometimes the universe, aka the Silva method, is looking out for you, and just gives you what you need. It's not Jesus no more. It's the Silva method. JK, don't come
The
after me.
dude provide.
Don't come after me.
You celebrate 2 Christmases.
That's what I said. Don't come after me. I love Christmas, dude. I'll celebrate it 3 times if I want to. I'll
All right,
celebrate
Joe,
it in
it's
July.
your check-in turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2024 has been it's been a hell of a start. It's been good things, crazy. Between obviously right the newborn now. He is 3 weeks. He will be at 4 weeks on Sunday. So that anytime bringing another human into any type of world, and then adding it, as you guys know, with another child and a young child, it's never easy. So it's been an adjustment there. while kind of trying to keep, it's a little bit different. Like sometimes, like people can get family paid leave, right? Or you can get take off work and stuff that, when you run a business that doesn't really happen so much. I've been working from home, which is why I'm not in my suit and tie, Jason, today. And you got mad that I was wearing a sweatshirt. It was either that or no shirt. So you're lucky.
Yep. Welcome to the fucking show, Joe. Welcome to the fucking show.
But 2024 has been a exciting, riveting, no sleep, but an awesome start. Really in all aspects of life. It really has been so we're good. We're not doing the Silva method, but we are doing things to just kind of keep momentum.
Now we're definitely losing half the audio.
So
fucking Joe.
I'm just gonna call it the Schmethod from now on. Call it the Schmethod.
I'm saying nothing. I said nothing. I ruined the episode when I talked about the Silva method.
Now you just Schmethod. Just call it the Schmethod.
It would have stopped.
No.
But yeah, we're good. We're good. We're tired. We're pushing through. The wife's there. She needs it. Needs that extra support and stuff right now. We just switched the little guy to formula today to kind of see if that might help out with some of the sleep and tiring and gas and stuff. That was kind of an issue with our first one.
I hate the gas phase.
Yeah.
4 weeks.
Yeah. So we
use the Windy Baby.
My wife hates it.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
My wife swore by it. I was like, I'm not about this.
Yeah. My brother swears by it. I was talking to him yesterday actually about it.
What is
the
this?
Windy?
What's this voodoo?
So the Windy's like
the Windy.
Go on.
It's like
a pen, but it's
yeah.
open, and you stick it in to let out gas.
Their ass?
Yeah, and whistles and lets out. Yeah,
I didn't do it. I'm not doing that, but that sounds. I mean, that's viable, I guess.
Dude, if your kid has really, really, we did the whole pump the legs. Fucking hell. I felt like we climbed Mount Everest. We were pumping his legs so much. It didn't do shit.
Nothing.
But that the Frida Windy Baby, man.
Yeah.
That thing. We tried gripe water. We tried all the typical shit they tell you that nothing worked except that Windy Baby, man.
Who said you don't learn shit on Dad Podcast?
Yeah. Yeah, what is it? Frida, right? That's the brand. Frida.
Frida Baby.
Frida Baby.
Same one that makes that booger sucker that no one ever likes because you're sucking snot out of your kids. That fucking thing works too.
I've heard that.
Have you used the booger sucker?
No, my wife's all
I can't.
about that
I couldn't do it.
Sucker,
I couldn't figure out how to
We've had
work it.
battery-powered booger suckers. We had the battery-powered booger sucker.
The little bulb.
The manual booger sucker. Multiple. We had the old school rubber booger sucker, like they give you at the hospital, not quite shaped the right way. I'm all about booger sugars, but
booger sugar. What's a booger sugar?
Alex is out. He's leaving the show. No. So I think to the credit of
the Silva method,
what you're saying,
Schmethod.
The credit of the Silva method. So if I have an upset tummy, I'm gonna stick a whistle up my ass. That's what you guys are saying. That's how we solve that problem.
Try it. Let us know next episode.
Yeah, let us know if the Windy Baby works on adults.
It's got to have some length. I'm not talking about
some guys are into that, man.
Whistle, but something with some space.
This one I thought I needed.
There's got to be a hole coming out the other way. So whatever's gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's fine.
No, honestly, that sounds horrible. So I'm
gonna look into
device.
It literally is. It's a little device, a little tube. You put
it's no worse than taking their temperature.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
Oh, it's not a big thing.
No, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's a full size whistle. It's like a whistle.
It's like one of those recorders you played in elementary school.
You take the whistle and the timer for the 40-yard dash, and that takes care of it.
I'm telling you, man. Check that out and check out that booger sucker by them if you haven't, if you don't have one. You'll come back on a future episode and be like, guys, where the fuck has this been all my life?
15% discount on free to
We
booger
had
suckers.
a battery powered one. We got a
Yep.
battery powered booger
Nope, this
sucker,
beats it.
and like our kids hated it, even though it had flashing lights, even though it had music playing. They hated it.
Oh man,
the
this
whole
little booger
time.
snucker,
And
it's
I
got a
hated
little
cleaning
tube. You
it.
just sneak it up there, and you're all done. All
Oh
done.
my god! I'm gonna look
It's
at
great. You can vary the pressure all you want. It doesn't make any kind of noise. No noise.
Hey, we haven't done any of the booger suckers. We haven't done any of them yet.
Yeah, you got to get that free to baby booger sucker.
I think
And they're cheap tools too. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
think the Windy Baby is like $15, and the booger thing is like another 15. I mean, if it saves you a night of screaming and
I don't remember
crying,
how much
it is well worth $15,
No,
my dude.
that's so weird. Literally, my wife just said, my son's calling her again. He wants nose spray. He says he has boogies. How weird is that?
Yeah.
How
So, there you go.
It's the
Oh
silver
my
method,
god.
dude.
The planets have aligned.
Booger
Oh
sugar.
my
The
God.
booger sugar.
That's so weird. Booger sugar. So I should give him some of that.
Is that code for the schmethod now? We call it booger sugar.
That is, it's code for cocaine, but I honestly don't do cocaine. But,
I don't know, man. Look at that background.
but I miss it.
That is Columbia if I've ever seen it. Actually, it was
I
looked
don't
like
expect you
Christmas
to believe
trees.
me, but I don't partake. I don't partake, and I'm in
That's
sales,
not a
and
Massachusetts
that's a
thing?
big part of it. And I don't. It's not. The rich
What's that?
people.
Wolf
thing, I
on Wall
think. It's
Street, where he's
expensive.
at. Where he's at lunch with
That's
Matthew
a Wolf on Wall Street
McConaughey.
thing, no doubt.
And he's like, Tootsie? He's like, so you do, how do you do drugs all day and you still manage to function?
Fucking fairy dust.
Fugazi, he called it.
Not on the elemental
Yeah.
chart.
McConaughey was
Doesn't
in
fucking exist.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Isn't it Matthew McConaughey?
I think he comes
He
out.
or-
Yeah, he's
he
like one of the
is.
first
He
bigwigs in Wall
explains
Street.
economics, Joe.
Okay.
He
They're
explains
eating lunch at
economics
like
in
that,
scene.
like,
Oh, that's right. That's
Schwanky-
right. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good,
Yeah.
It's a good movie. You should watch that. It's not
Well,
at all
hell,
like
everybody's
Jason.
having a good 2024.
Fucking fairy dust.
Alex is going to land that job.
Listen, Alex, it's going to be so much better for you, bro. It's
save us
going to be one of those things that everything happens for a reason. You're going to probably get paid more. It's going to be,
Dude, my wife went through a string of like bullshit jobs, and
Mhm.
I don't know how the fuck
That's
she pulled
good.
through it, because I was getting like, it was driving me nuts, and we were okay the whole time, but I mean, as much as it crushed me when we found out, because it was like 2 jobs and it was just shit employers. There was no reason to fire her. There wasn't a performance issue. It was just shit employers just playing fucking shitty employee games, and moving the pieces around. And one of them was even just to fucking hire somebody that knew the family of the owner type bullshit. I don't know how she pulled through it, but she pulled through it. And now she's in like an amazing fucking job, has a great position. So I'm a firm believer, and that shit's happened through my life too. I've gone through shitty jobs, and so far every time I've come out on the better. So props to you, dude, for fighting through that. But I hope everything goes well. Seriously, with that interview.
Well, the interview.
Oh, you've already had the interview. Yeah.
Yeah, I already had it today, and he wasn't talking to me like we'll get back to you. He was talking to me like, hey, you think you could start Friday? And I was like, yeah. But all I have to do is wait.
Yeah.
All I have to do is wait to get 100% confirmation. Then I can, move my stuff there and just start fresh Friday.
Nice.
Fingers crossed, Silva Method, save us all.
Yo, I had a sales trainer. I'm not shitting you. I had this. I read I can't remember I think it was Grant Cardone, but it was basically like, you want a fucking job? Just go in there tomorrow. Just sit down and start fucking doing the job. And when they ask, like, they were like, I got a couple. This isn't fucking. I'm not fucking around. He's like, just fucking start working. Just go in there and start working. Just be like that when they're telling you, I got a couple other. We still have a couple other interviews. That's fine. I'll be here. I'll be here when you're done with those interviews. Let me know if they'll do that. That's a powerful shit. So I think you should just do that, Alex. Wherever
Just
it
show
is,
up,
Just go
bring in
sit
my-
there
my-
tomorrow.
you
all
just
day.
show up at
Thursday.
you just start fucking putting
Put
you
me
put
in,
a fucking
coach.
transmission in off the clock. You didn't even get the job yet. You're hired.
I might go start living with Jason. He can be my hype man.
I'm just seeing Jason. I'm just envisioning him right now going to like another car dealership. Like he leaves Hyundai and he goes to another car dealership.
Fuck
And he's like,
yeah.
"Yeah, we'll call you on Friday." No, I'm just gonna start selling right now. He just starts selling cars.
Yeah, he just walks out in the lot. He's like, "Hey, what you need a car?"
Honestly, I think it would work
Yeah,
best in
that's what
that
I was thinking
environment.
where
I
you
think
were going with
in
it,
Alex,
not maybe just fixing
Yeah,
like
do
a Lexus or something like Alex might be doing. Like, yeah, you know what I'm doing. Don't worry about it. And you just start pulling stuff off the car. It's a little
I got
different.
this.
I guess it's particular to the job you're doing, but I'm telling you that just have confidence that you are. Assume the position. How about that, Alex?
I like it. I like it.
The Frida
homo.
baby position.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there, but I do think
But
that's some
what
real.
I mean,
I need the
by-
Frida
by this
baby.
time
I got
next
some
week-
boogers in my nose.
By this time next week, 2024, Alex, you're going to be saying, "Hey, this was a positive," and everybody's on a good streak for 2024, so it's good.
Yeah. I think every time I've had a setback for whatever reason, I always turn out in it a little bit better. And now that I have the Silva method with me, I think I'll do
Cause you ain't no bitch.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'll do
think
way
I
better.
think it's the time to dad method. I mean, think about everybody
I
that's
think so.
stuck through the podcast is doing good. Everybody that's quit, we don't know what's going on. So, but they always say bad things.
They're dead to us, I think.
So,
That's
Right.
not bullshit. I gotta say, like, gotta have a certain, like, I mean, it's a nonsense drive, but we're driven people. We
Yeah.
stick with something. We
Mhm.
do this fucking show. We come here and we experience some form of therapy with it in a way, but like it's something that we wanted to do and we stuck to it, and that's just like what we do with our
Yeah.
fucking personal or professional lives, and that's why things move in a certain direction. So I mean, you can't be, you have to
listen,
be
everything you
resilient
do in life
in all
is
fucking
inconvenient.
things.
It's just a matter, right? It's just a matter of you stick through it. I mean,
Yeah. To what degree? Yeah.
yeah,
Time block.
it is. It's time blocking. It's valuing the time and figure out. I mean, listen, there's times I'm sure after the eighth person quit, Nick was probably like, "Screw it, done." That's it. So,
I said that multiple times.
Yeah.
I've been like, man, if one more guy leaves.
right? Like,
But then too, it's like when Jason come on, there was like this renewed vigor and new relationships were built,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, we can let's keep fucking rolling with this. And it's happened a few times. It's a fucking bummer, and I try to be straight up front because a lot of those guys have left for we don't know 100%, but some of those guys left for relationship issues. Some of them left because of time management issues.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm pretty damn upfront. You guys have seen my posts, especially the last one where I was like, if you can't dedicate this block of time, don't waste my time. And I got a few naysayers that were like, whoa, like, way to get to the point. And I'm like, well, when this has happened multiple times for that very reason, I'm just trying to fucking be upfront about it.
Yeah.
So, but life is all about, man, taking fucking lemons and making some lemonade.
Yeah. I like it. Well, listen, I like where it's going. I think, obviously if that people are having some relationship issues, hopefully they tune into the podcast and start listening. And, maybe that's something that we'll kind of start talking about in the future, like maybe things that have kind of helped. I'm sure we've all had times in our relationships where there's been times that things have been rocky or, rough spells and things, and maybe what you've done to kind of, I don't know, rejuvenate it, get yourself back on track, get each other back on track, right? Especially with kids, right? Young ones, different parenting styles. I think that's sometimes a rocky thing, right? It's all, fairy tales and rainbows and everything when you're dating. And then all of a sudden you get married and kids. And it's like, hey, I didn't know you were going to parent that way, right? Like, I don't know if you guys experienced any of that type of stuff, or like where it's been like a complete difference. And then how did you, or
I
how
have to play the bad cop all the time.
Okay.
I'm the bad cop all the time.
Like I get called in when he needs a stern talking to, and he's just going apeshit crazy, and he's getting rough with Jen, and Jen can't deal with it, and so I'll have to go in and kind of put him in his place and be the loud, mean voice. We don't do the quiet parenting shit. We just don't.
Yeah.
That's not our style. It's definitely not my style.
That's how we have Jen's
We're
ears.
living in the quiet
That's how you end up
parenting
with Jen.
style. What was that?
What's that? Just
Like,
the parents that are
What?
like, your kid's throwing a fucking temper tantrum, and my response will be like, I won't say shit, but I'll be like, knock it off. Like, what is going on? You don't need to be doing that. Here's why we're not doing it. As where with the I don't even know if it's called quiet parenting, but it's like the softer parenting method where the parents will be like, oh, like, you have big feelings. Why don't you tell me about them? Like playing therapist with their child almost. And that's just not for me. I mean, if your child is misbehaving and there is absolutely no fucking reason other than they're just, because their favorite friggin' blanket is in the washing machine. I mean, I'm stern with him and we'll start. I have a tendency to get loud when I'm fucking upset. If it's just a shit day and Emerson's pushing my buttons, I'll get fucking loud, and I'm not proud of that. But I'm not going to change that because I think it's important for him to understand other people's frustrations with his behavior. So that's kind of why that's the way I am. But I'm not going to sit there and play therapist with my child and try to manipulate them into kind of thinking what they're doing is okay if it's absolutely not. If he's upset because his fucking balloon popped and he's having a tantrum, then we'll talk about it. And I'll say, I'm sorry your balloon popped, but that's unacceptable behavior because XYZ happened.
Afterwards, you got to stop. I feel like the shit show.
Right? Exactly.
And then calm down and you can actually talk to him like a human being.
Yes, the time to explain things is after the moment once you've addressed it. Sorry, Alex.
I think you're combining the getting loud and the soft parenting that you're describing by doing it your way, because I'm not a fan of tantrums. And thankfully, my kids haven't really thrown any tantrums when we go out in public. To me, they haven't done it to me. They've done it to my wife. But if I was there, I tell them at home. I just say, that's enough. Cut it out. What you're doing, I can't really explain it to them at their level because I'm not at that level. But what I can break it down to the lowest level that I can explain it and say, hey, that's not okay. Don't whatever to your sister. Don't whatever to your brother, because they're always fighting. You never realize how much kids fight. They just do. They're just so crazy with each other. And they're both 2-year-old. And they're just swinging on each other, pushing each other.
You gotta let them duke it out sometimes.
Again, I know. I tell my wife they just have a lot of wiggle, so they're gonna have to go to grandma's house. Grandma has a way bigger house. Grandma can tire them out just by walking around their house, right? Or we go outside just to wear them out because I know, I understand they get frustrated. They get, I wouldn't say cabin fever and not let them out either, but I understand they get.
I do the same with my bulldogs.
So they get confined. See, I learned a lot with my dogs in them teaching me the Silva method and just enlightening me on all the good stuff. And I was trying so hard to get Nick to do a spit take and it didn't work. I know I saw it. It almost worked. No, but I understand where they come from a lot of times, but when I don't, that's when I come up and say, hey, cut it out. I don't know what you're doing. And as best as I can say, hey, talk to me. What's going on? Show me what happened. Then they say, oh, I have a freaking splinter in my hand or I have dirt in my hand because I put it in my mouth and now it's fucking gross. It's like, oh, okay, don't do that. Don't do that, kid. Like if you ask them, they might tell you what the problem is, then you can correct it. And if they're being ridiculous, then you say, no.
So here's a good example. So we have some neighbors down the street, and they threw a little block party this past Saturday for like an Easter thing for people in the neighborhood with kids. and they have a bouncy house. And so I'm over talking to like the other adults. My kid's in there, and there's kids ranging from, I think Emerson was, well, he wasn't the youngest. There were a few kids younger than him, but most of the kids were probably 7 years old, maybe a little bit older. But he just kept calling over to me, and I could hear in his whiny voice that he wanted to tell me like, so and so did something. And so I go over there because he just wouldn't stop calling me. And mind you, this whole time I'm talking to the adults, I had an eye on him because I could just tell he wanted to tattletale about something. And so he calls me over there, and I go over there, and he's like, I was like, what's wrong, buddy? And he's like, oh, well, they pushed me over. And he's talking about like one of the 7-year-old kids. And for the past 5 fucking minutes, I watched my son walk around with the fucking cornhole beanbag, smacking this 7-year-old with it, after the 7-year-old nicely asked him for like 5 freaking minutes straight to stop hitting them. And all they did was just push Emerson over. Like, it wasn't a rough push. They're in a friggin' bouncy house. Just lightly pushed him over. And so when I go over there, I was like, well, what, I was like, buddy, you're over here hitting them with this beanbag. They asked you to stop. You're playing with bigger kids. What did you expect? And I could see this like Karen mom out of the corner of my eye, like cut her eyes towards me. Like, why would you tell him that? And I'm like, because that's the fucking reality of the situation. You were bullying a kid bigger than you, essentially. And they had finally had, like, I'm not going to say, like, oh, kid, I don't know. I'm sorry my kid was annoying you for the past 10 minutes. Could you please not do that? Like, that's kind of the parenting I'm talking about, where I could literally feel her judgment, like, piercing my soul for saying that to him. And I'm just like, consequences, dude. Like, what did you expect to happen?
Push you with 2 hands.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, really, aside from them, like, flat out smacking you in the face or something, or kicking you, there was no need for me to say anything to that kid. And the kid came over and they were like, well, he was smacking me. And I had to explain. I was like, I watched him do it for 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I'll make sure he doesn't hit you anymore. Because the kid thought they were going to get in trouble. And I was like, no, you're fine. And that's when Karen finally stopped staring at me. But it's that kind of shit that, like, my wife and I get driven nuts by, because there are the parents out there that would have been like, okay, well, you two come here and let's talk about it. Why'd you hit? And why'd you hit? And that's just a waste of time, in my opinion. My son was being a little asshole and he got pushed over. Yeah. He didn't get hurt. It just pissed him off. And so I was like, deal with it, dude. Like, that repercussions for the silly shit you were just doing.
You and your wife are like on board the same with that stuff, though.
Do what? Oh yeah,
you and your wife are
I mean, he roughhouses with his older. He's got a cousin that's like half a year older than him, and then he's got another cousin that's like 3 years older than him, I think. And he'll roughhouse with the bigger one and get hurt. And we're like, well, we told you not to roughhouse with him because he's bigger, and so then his cousin will fall on him, and he's bawling about it. We're like, well, buddy. Yeah. You're half his freaking size and you're roughhousing with him. Like, what did you expect to happen? Exactly. We try to steer him clear of stuff like that, but I mean,
I'm gonna keep him in his weight class, Nick. This is what. We don't want to.
I have no problem with him roughhousing with a bigger kid. Just don't come crying to me.
With Mike Tyson, all right? You stay in your weight class, man. Like.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, right? It's the next one.
Listen, you get a feel for who you're messing with. Like, stay in your own weight.
He doesn't. Man, my son doesn't stay in his lane. He does what? Somebody taught him the word roughhousing recently, and he can't say it quite right. So I came home today, and I'm in the kitchen, like, putting some frozen pizzas in the oven, and he comes in. He's got one of those little foam kids chairs. It's like an easy chair for kids, and he picks it up and he throws it on the kitchen floor and starts rolling around with it. And he's like, Daddy, I'm roughhousing. And I was like, what did you say? And he said, I'm roughhousing. And I was like, oh, roughhousing. And he's like, yeah. And he proceeds to like elbow drop the foam chair, and it was absolutely hilarious. But I was like, it's a boy for you.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Rick. You were.
I was
Ric
waiting
Flair
for him to
and you were
stand
Mean
up and just
Gene.
woo me, but he didn't do it. So, I mean, maybe it's different
That's
with boys and girls, right? Lily moved in with us well
Definitely,
past that stage of life. But 90% of the time when my wife is like, you might want to check on him, I'm like, boys will be boys. Like he's just doing knucklehead boy stuff.
Yeah, the way I treat my son versus how I treat my daughter is completely different
Yeah.
because I'm aware of how much tougher and how much little boys need that aggression just
Yeah.
You need a thicker
let out,
skin, man.
or they can take it more than
And
a
it's
girl.
so natural. It's
Yeah.
crazy, right? Like the aggression, like of a boy compared. Like we were just talking about that the other day. And like we were like he was just like tense, like this, like just freaking out. And we were just like, and it was like over the stupidest little thing. And it was, but he was excited. It wasn't like anger. I was just like, that is just immense tension that like just needs to come out of like a man. Like, you know, like that's why like you have like those break rooms. You ever see that? Right? There's right.
Yeah,
Like, and that's like just like
Yeah.
a thing that like that's like the dream, right? Like, and as a kid, you see how early at 2 years old they have it already. You know, it's nuts. Yeah.
Someone said it was I think I mentioned on a different show, but there's like an Instagram reel with one of those child psychologist guys, and he's like, let your boy kids go outside and play until they are so tired that they just can't anymore, and then they come home. That is literally how much energy they could expel if you just let them play, let them let it all out all day, and then they come back in and they're tired.
You're talking about like bringing back the 90s.
Well, I mean, I didn't play until I was exhausted. I lived in a cul-de-sac. I did stupid shit. I wrestled, roughhoused with women. To be honest, like I had girl cousins and stuff. Like they'll roughhouse a little. They will. Like if they're the same age as you,
and they definitely will.
Yep.
I know that
kid's
too. Just they're you got boy and girl twins, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, they roughhouse a little.
Roughhousing.
They do. They're insane, dude. Insane. They're both like super mean to each other, and for some reason, my son just takes more offense to like being beat up, or he'll cry about it more than my daughter will. But I'll tell them both like, hey, just cut it out. It's insane. Like, look, this dude's fighting his sleep, but he just wants to be out here with
you mentioned bringing back the 90s. It's the 90s and the 80s. Like if it was summertime, dude, I would leave the house as soon as I woke up, and I would be, if my mom wasn't like yelling curse words at me to get my ass back in the house for dinner, it was too early to come home. Like that's how you knew you definitely should probably be headed home, was when your mom was like yelling at you to get your ass back in the house. But that man, we would go all through the friggin' creek. We'd be getting soaking wet. We'd be pushing dead trees over. We'd be freaking sword fighting with tree limbs, throwing acorns. I mean, we did rough and tumble shit. I mean, we would fucking take acorns and hit them at each other with badminton rackets. Like if you do that nowadays, like parents are going to threaten to fucking put a lawsuit on you. It was a different world, man. And not to mention that the mom wasn't worried if we followed the creek 2 miles down the road catching tadpoles and crawfish. You weren't worried your kid was going to get snatched up by like the cartel and thrown into sex trafficking or something.
Part of it is knowing, like, as a parent, right? Like now, like think about like when our kids kind of grow up, and Nick, you have, obviously your stepdaughter. Like when they go out, if you want to get in touch with them or figure it out, you can call them immediately.
Yeah.
But like when we were kids, right? Like our parents, like, of course they were worried, but there's nothing they could do about it because they didn't even know where we were at some point. Like there's almost like you have to not worry. Like you almost have to like shut your brain down in that aspect. Do you think like that could be like
I don't know. I mean, we did dumb shit, but at the same time, if somebody got hurt, somebody's running to somebody's house to get an adult. Like I feel like common
Yeah,
sense,
sure.
the common sense level back then was high, but it wasn't high, right? Like we did stupid shit that could have got somebody hurt, but at least somebody knew where to go and how to get help if they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about how Nick grew up in the opening credits of the Andy Griffith
Fuck
show?
yeah, dude.
Can we like go there?
I love that
say
show,
the
man.
fuck?
Used to watch that show at
Fucking
dinner time
shooting
all
at
the time as a
some-
kid.
What the fuck?
You didn't do any of that?
This guy's crawling down the
I
creek,
grew up in
shooting at
California,
some.
in the
Dude,
city.
we used to shoot
all city,
BB guns at
everywhere.
each other, man. We did some crazy ass shit. And I'm
Man,
still alive.
I went up the creek. You
I
guys
grew up
talking
in
about going up the creek 2 miles. I didn't have a fucking creek to go. I'm not.
Well,
If I went down 2 miles, I'd be in the city. I'm not going.
Well, you gotta get into the suburbs.
that's it.
I was in it. I had TG like radio towers. If I went down 2 miles, I didn't have
Yeah.
a creek. That sounds
Every kid
nice,
needs
though.
a creek to play in.
Yeah, we lived right. We had dead end right next to us, and we had the pond. We
There you go.
Dixie Pond, and it would freeze over.
Everybody seeks out water. Where's the water source? Like, I just want to find if it's a lake, a
Kids love
pond,
water,
a
man.
creek, a fucking
Yeah.
fucking puddle. Where's the water at? That was our
Yep.
like our childhood mission. It seems like.
Yeah, it was.
National.
We had a lot of that, and then we would go to my grandparents' house, and they had the woods in their backyard, and then we'd go in the
Mhm.
woods, and once you were in that woods, it was a whole nother
Fucking
Whole nother
build
world.
forts and shit.
build forts,
Play
shoot
guns.
BB guns,
Yeah.
chase each other with it. Like we had my one cousin, he was like the oldest one. He'd make us all put on like thick jackets, and
Uh-huh.
we were in it,
And
right?
shoot your
we would
ass.
just talk about common sense, not common sense, right? We would run in the woods with thick jackets, and we would allow him to shoot us with a BB gun, no goggles, nothing like this,
Yeah.
right? Like, and it was just this is fun. Like, that's a great idea,
This is
guys.
fine.
Yep.
This is no big
Don't
deal.
worry about it.
Yeah, we didn't have Halo, but we had real BB guns. We were gonna chase in the woods and shoot each other.
Nobody got.
my
You're
word.
still alive.
We're still here. We all got our eyes. We're all good. He got my cousin Danny a few times in the ass. That was a good shot. So never forget that.
Oh my god.
Those are good times.
I gotta sell my paintball gun. Anybody got that shit? Like, I got paintball guns. I
did back in the
don't have
day.
time for any of this.
Yeah,
I had a really nice autococker back in the day.
Autococker.
Yeah, you do. Oh, yeah,
Giggity.
like a gun. Sorry.
Yeah, the paintball gun. No, we used to play paintball hardcore.
You auto cock.
We played in these swampy ass woods behind my friend's house, and his mom. They lived in a really nice neighborhood, and his mom made all of our parents sign a waiver that basically said we weren't going to sue her if somebody got hurt. But we did a lot of stupid shit. We played Protect the President a lot. That was always fun. But no, I sold all that shit like shortly after I got out of high school.
Yeah, I never got into it. It was more sports like that aspect of it.
Paintball's a sport.
Yeah, but like that's like what they call the action, more like the action sports type stuff.
I think airsoft's bigger now than paintball.
Is it?
Yeah, because people like it. It's slightly more realistic from what I gather than giant paint-filled balls flying around. But
both leave you bruised. One, you don't have to clean your clothes. Is that what we're getting at?
I think so. Yeah.
Only
Cleaner. It's a cleaner way to get shot.
I didn't play with BB guns. I didn't play with paintball guns. I barely did laser tag when I
love
the
laser tag.
You played with real guns.
Well, that's
Alex.
about what I was trying to get into.
That was a quick transition.
So I played with real guns when I was in the military.
But
the only time beforehand that I was exposed to guns was when me and my family were living in Mexico. We lived in Mexico for like a year, and it was between 8 and 9 years old. So half of fourth grade, half of fifth grade in Mexico. It was terrible. I hated it. But that was the only time that I discovered my dad had a handgun. Never saw him use it. He never would go practice shooting, but he had one. And After that, came back to live in America like one should. And then the next time I was exposed to any kind of weapons was in the military, and I shot everything available during my career. The only thing that I never shot was a handgun. So I was more scared of shooting a handgun than an automatic grenade launcher, which I should be concerned for my life with something like that. But I was way more concerned that a handgun could possibly explode in my hand or just shoot back. Because I've seen clips of people just whacking themselves with the gun. I was terrified. When I tell you I was terrified, I was terrified. And then once I shot a gun for the first time, I was like, dude, this is nothing. Like when I was deployed overseas, I had an M249 SAW, fucking machine gun, right?
Yeah. That's a big one.
That's a big one. And I was a big boy, and only two unfortunate dudes that had that same machine gun were in my unit. The rest were big dudes just like me, just big motherfuckers that you giving them a heavy weapon's not going to phase them. They're already carrying a lot of weight. This is nothing to them.
Big dudes.
So that was fucking me, right? But fuck, I forgot where even I was going with it. But I felt left out during the conversation. I felt left out during you guys talking about BB guns and paintball guns. So I hope you guys
big
felt
dudes
left
with
out
units.
Big dudes with units.
Big dudes and machine guns. Big dudes.
Big machine guns for big dudes.
And then you had two guys with little units. We got it. That's it.
No, there's two smaller guys that there's no way
they couldn't carry the bigger unit.
Guys, they could. I mean, they did it. It's not that they didn't want to. They did it because they had to.
Time to dad.
What size is your unit?
It's a pretty average size unit, all right?
You didn't have to answer. It was more a general question to the audience.
Hey,
thank you.
Listen, you got 3 kids. The unit's working fine.
It's the motion of the ocean, right?
Like and subscribe to the Size Alex's unit. Time to dad.
Calendar coming shortly.
I think we should
fundraiser.
100% make a dab calendar. That would be
dudes with
hilarious.
Big units.
That actually would be pretty funny. We might have 12 dads from all the people that have joined, and then some of the original Canadian. The Canadian can do December, Nick. And then right? Jason, you never met Brian.
We could do what's behind the door. All 12 members of the podcast hang their unit, and we try to decide individually who's who with no other context.
Oh my god!
Alex is getting singled out. I think he's got the darkest skin in the podcast.
Well, I didn't want to say.
I mean, let's be real here.
You can do the pictures in black and white. You just change it on your phone to like a black and white.
Who's going to volunteer to check each? Who's going to?
Well, it was your idea. I was assuming you were going to check.
Exactly. You're the official unit.
This is one of those ask and you shall receive moments.
Yeah. We vote you the unit checker. That's you, Jason.
Unit checker.
So I get to go down the line. Think about my perspective in the group. I'll go down the line. I'll try to guess which unit moved the podcast the most, and then I move and see which units move as I go down the line. I don't know. Let's end it there.
That's a good idea.
That's why it's nice doing an episode with all the original dudes, because we get into some weird tangents. You're welcome, audience. Anyways, like and subscribe. Stick around for the what'd you call it? What's behind the door? Which definitely isn't going to happen. But thank you guys. Like and subscribe. Thanks for dealing with our shenanigans and hanging out. Come join us on the Facebook group. Drop us a line, some comments, and we will catch you on the next episode. See ya.
Yeah.
Later.
Toodaloo.